Good morning and welcome to 7 at 7 from the Economic Times podcasts, a daily financial news capsule to get you clued in for the day. It's Monday, the 21st of October, and I am your host, Bhaskar Datta. Let's start with global developments. Asian stocks are likely to receive a boost today, as the Chinese central bank is scheduled to cut interest rates in order to revive economic growth in the world's second largest economy, global reports said. A record high closing for key US equity indices on Friday is also seen giving a leg up to Asian stocks today. Australian shares opened higher, with equity futures in Japan and mainland China also pointing to gains, Bloomberg reported. US contracts rose after the S&P 500 notched up a sixth straight weekly increase, the best streak this year, the report said. On Friday, the governor of the People's Bank of China informed a forum in Beijing that the country's loan prime rate would be cut by 20 to 25 basis points today, Reuters reported, citing Xinhua News. The Chinese central bank also rolled out measures to pump more than $100 billion into the Asian giant's stock market. As debates about how the US government has been managing the economy heat up ahead of the elections next month, official data released on Friday showed that the country's budget deficit was at $1.83 trillion in fiscal year 2024, the third largest on record, Reuters reported. The deficit, which was the highest outside of the pandemic era, expanded due to rising interest on the US government's debt and as the country ramped up spending on social security, healthcare, and the armed forces. Higher US budget deficits have played a role in pushing up bond yields in the world's largest economy, imparting significant volatility for capital flows into bond and currency markets in other countries. Turning to local news, here's a scoop that ET has bottled for you. Jubilant Bhartia Group, led by the Bhartia brothers, is eyeing a $1.5 billion deal to acquire a 40% stake in Hindustan Coca Cola Beverages. This investment would be the biggest in their portfolio, which spans industries from pharmaceuticals to fast food. They're in talks with global investment firms like Apollo Global Management and Bain Capital to fund a part of the acquisition. The Bhartiyas aim to wrap up the deal by the end of the year, signaling a major consolidation in India's beverage industry. As the government looks to boost trade, efforts are on by the centre to roll out new standard operating procedures for negotiating free trade agreements, a move that aligns with labour, environmental and digital service regulations. This development is in response to evolving trade challenges and sustainability demands from major partners like the US and the EU. The SOPs will also tackle concerns around misuse of origin rules and enhance market access for smaller trading partners. The government aims to secure cabinet approval soon, indicating progress in its trade negotiations. Following the recent disturbing trend of continuous bomb hoaxes that have disrupted flights around the country, India is planning to revamp its aviation security protocols. New measures will include tighter screening for passengers and cargo and more sophisticated threat assessments to avoid unnecessary emergency landings. These changes are expected to minimize delays while ensuring safety, as authorities aim to differentiate between credible and non-credible threats. Here's some news linked to India's largest private sector bank. HDB Financial, a subsidiary of HDFC Bank, is preparing for a major IPO in 2024. The IPO is expected to raise substantial capital and solidify HDB Financial's position in the market. This move comes at a time when India's financial services sector is poised for growth, attracting both institutional and retail investors. The company plans to use the funds to expand its lending operations, especially in underserved rural markets. We end today with a report on how corporate India is arming itself against rapidly evolving and increasingly sophisticated cyber threats. With such threats becoming more and more frequent, Indian companies are ramping up cybersecurity measures. Major conglomerates like Reliance and Tata are investing heavily in tech defenses as they face a higher risk of data breaches, particularly with the rise of AI-driven cyber threats. CEOs and boards are now making cybersecurity a top priority, conducting regular audits, and updating protocols to protect sensitive information. That's all for today. Thank you very much for tuning into 7 at 7 from the Economic Times podcasts.